And let's go to something else we saw this weekend. Not as great a start for Nebraska as you take a look at how things went as they faced off with Illinois and got out of hand early second quarter. Illinois down, but first and goal, Mike Epstein runs it in. Illinois ties the game at 9. A little while later, Adrian Martinez taking it off, taking it in. And then you see the pressure just comes on and on again. Just the second time the Illini have taken down Nebraska in back-to-back seasons. The first time since 1923 and 1924. So Scott Frost's troubles there at his alma mater have not been easy early. 12-21 record, the second worst in Nebraska football history among coaches who were there for 3 years. The kicker, both the previous coaches coached for more than 50 years. Harry, fans not happy about the way things started again this year. They let everybody know on Twitter, as they always do. When you look at what's going on there with Nebraska, overreaction, right on track. How you feeling?
So part of me wants to say it's an overreaction, and the other part of me is like, well, it's not. Because if you look at how Nebraska has been the past 2 decades, the last time they were a top 5 team was over a decade ago, and the time before that was a decade ago. So this isn't necessarily new for Nebraska. Now, obviously, they had better years under Bo Pelini, but I think Nebraska fans, like, it's the thing that's great about college football, right, is these overreactions, because no matter what team it is, you think that your team every single year is supposed to win a national championship. Now, the funny part with Nebraska is their fans, like, truly believe this, right? Like, they think they saved college football last year. They thought they were going to go into Columbus last year and beat Ohio State. That obviously did not happen. But this kind of has to be, I think, a wake-up call for Nebraska fans, for you to really look at your program and take a realistic view and be like, okay, what are we, right? Like, the way the history of college football has gone, there have been eras where certain teams dominate, right? We saw it with USC before. We've seen it with Miami. We're seeing it now with Alabama. Nebraska, you guys had your time, and I think, Lugs, you could probably elaborate a little bit better on why that's not necessarily the case anymore.
Well, listen, in my view, this is all about recruiting, and not Scott Frost's inability to recruit, not Bo Pelini's inability to recruit. This is a different college football landscape. This is not 105 scholarships and unlimited walk-ons, 95 scholarships and unlimited walk-ons. This is about player pool. Take a look at this map right here. If you include Nebraska in the 6 states that border it, look at that number to your right. 13 ESPN 300 top recruits, all right? Not one of them is committed to Nebraska, and 4 of the 13 have yet to make a verbal commitment. In contrast, Texas, 47 ESPN top 300 recruits. So if you're Scott Frost, if you are the coaching staff at Nebraska, in the accelerated pace that we have found recruiting to be over the last 15 years, how are you supposed to get kids to get on your campus as freshmen, sophomores, juniors? How are you supposed to get kids to drive in their car that are top-level players? I'm talking about players that are going to select Clemson or Alabama or Texas A&M. It's virtually impossible. You are so far behind the 8 ball, and it doesn't matter what your history, what your tradition is, what your facilities are like, what your fan base and your support is like. How do you get those guys on campus? When a Dabo Swinney can throw a rock outside of his office and in 250 miles in any direction hit every elite player in high school football, and they can all drive to his campus as many times as they want. That's a challenge regardless of who the coach is at Nebraska.
And Lugs, that's the off-the-field stuff, kind of the behind-the-scenes about what's going on there. And Scott Frost said after this game, he said to the press that it felt like the same movie as last year. We've got to change it so we don't get the same movie again on the field. What changes need to be made with this team?
They have to be more prepared. This was a team that had multiple snafus, and I understand it's week 1, but you see a guy fielding a punt right there on the 1-yard line. All right, you have 2 missed extra points by a kicker who was all Big Ten a year ago, and then later on in the game, after a strip sack, and all of a sudden this ball gets scooped, and now points and momentum has swung in the favor of Illinois. We fast forward to the 4th quarter, and there's a situation on offense where the sideline at Nebraska thinks it's 4th down, and it was 1st down. So they run a quarterback sneak on 1st down, thinking it's 4th down, and wasted a down. So, you know, the in-game management of the football team and how the football team is performing, and then to exacerbate matters, you end up going on the road to a team that obviously was very well prepared with Brett Bielema's Illini, but you get beat by their backup quarterback. And so this is not good. Recruiting notwithstanding, the on-field performance and how these players have, I think, shown a lack of focus is alarming.
Nebraska will have their home opener next week. Oklahoma just 3 weeks away, so something to keep an eye on with the Illini. Also want to keep an eye on Brandon Peters. He did leave the game with an injury. No update yet on his status, something that we will continue to monitor throughout the week here on College Football Live.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.